Put that up, Serge. This is great. You look, these guys are wearing masks in order to fly the flag of England. That is that is absurd.
Very bad.
Because it is. If you're the government, this is horrifying. Seeing people actually identify and be proud of who they are. That's terrifying if you're a bureaucrat.
But actually, like let's go back and start it from the beginning and look at all, like, you see all these people that are starting to fly flags. And this, again, I've been to the UK, I think, like 13 or 14 times in my life, and I've never seen anyone flying the English flag. I would once in a while. Once in a while, I'd see the Union Jack, but I would never see the English flag. And there was a time where this just didn't happen. And again, this is not that long ago. The last time I was in the UK was 2019. Right before COVID happened, and you wouldn't see this. But this is actually it's actually something that's very positive for the country. They're actually standing up for themselves. But it does kind of shock me that you have to wear a mask in order to fly your own country's flag. You know,
it's a failed society. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, if they can't succeed there, I mean, the UK does always feel like to some degree they're 10 years ahead of the United States in a lot of ways. I mean, like Brexit was a really good indicator of how the Trump election was going to go. So it's like a lot of people see this in the audience, they kind of roll their eyes and say, well, that's England, or they say, oh, well, that's Canada, or that's Australia, like these things. It is true, there is a big difference. The United States is obviously a vastly different culture, even though we are in the Anglosphere. But it is worth keeping an eye on because those trends do affect us to some degree, and we are struggling with the same issue. I mean, Mary noted, okay, the immigration to the UK is culturally far different. I mean, it's like Pakistani stuff. We're getting mostly like Latin American, or historically speaking. But it still is fundamentally the same issue, and the issue, now the question people are asking, Charlie Kirk is asking this, he's saying, what is an American? That's a question that has to be answered. And same thing in England. They have to ask, what is an Englishman?
And I think people are articulating that simply acquiring a legal citizenship in the U.S. does not make you an American.
No. Paperwork Americans, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, look, I think that the United States is different different from England, from the UK, from Wales. I do think that, like, the United States doesn't have the same kind of history that the UK does, or like England does. England has, like, it's 1,000 years old, right? Like, it's got deep history, and there are English people that are English. There aren't, the way that Americans are Americans. They're American. They're born here, but it's not that there is a racial component to it. You can say that there is a history that Americans share, and that paperwork Americans aren't real Americans. But if you are from another country and you come here, you do actually have the opportunity to become American. But it's more about, do you believe the things that Americans believe, right? Like, if you come here and you're just coming here because you want to get some kind of benefit or whatever, or you're just looking for a job, I don't think that person should be allowed to just come in, however. But if you believe in things like, the foundational principles that made America, right? Like property rights and the things like that, then I think it's okay for people to come. But they actually have to buy into being an American. It used to be people that came to America stopped speaking their language from their old the old country.
That's what the Italians
stopped doing the traditions that they had in the old country, and they wanted their kids to become American. And if that's the way that a immigrant behaves, I'm fine with it, because again, we don't have the kind of history where we can say, oh, we have a racial basis in our country.
No, that's not true. The country was 90% white until 1960.
We share
absolutely.
New York City up until, what was it, the post World War II? It was like 95%
but
white.
You'll still
now
get,
it's 28%.
Hold on. You still get the arguments. You still get arguments about what a white person is, because Irish and Italians weren't considered white.
True.
There's the idea about wasps. Seriously, like, you can give me the eyes, but it's true, and that's.
We know what's not white. We know it's not American. Like, we can start there and then kind of close in on, like, defining.
Also, just because it's a construct that was normalized because there were so many different European ethnicities in one place doesn't mean that the construct is meaningless. It is meaningful.
But the argument about Europeans, that would mean that Mexicans are just as white as any Americans, because
we know what
they're
a
from
Mexican
Spain.
is. But we know what a Mexican is too.
They're intermixed with Spanish blood.
The Spanish are just as white. The European Spanish are just as white as Italians or Southern French.
Okay, correct. Mexicans are not ethnically the same makeup as Spaniards.
They're very similar. What?
Intermixed.
They're like 40% indigenous.
Is it that much with Mexicans?
Basically
Diesel.
half and half.
But even still, there's there's not a simple way to say
Here
what
they
a
are
white
in
person.
cartels in the U.S. rolling heads and cutting people's tongues out like Aztecs. Are we
those
surprised
people,
by that?
I mean, no, those people should get bombs dropped on their head. But like if you're actually going to be like if you're killing people, the government should wrap you up and throw you in jail. Obviously, that's not.
I'm just saying that's not
question.
a coincidence.
Yeah, well, and also like we have to be realistic with immigration policy in the 21st century because like I had Nathan Halberstadt on the morning show two or 3 days ago, and he made a really great point, which is the way an immigrant matriculates into American society now in 2025 is vastly different from like 1935. Because in 1935, you get on a boat, there's a good chance that's the last time you're ever going to see where you came from. Versus now, when you come here, you have your phone, you have your internet, you're watching TV and in your native tongue from your country, you're talking to your family all the time. Like the digital age makes it very difficult for an immigrant to properly
You notice
assimilate.
immigrants are on the phone all the damn time.
They always have FaceTimes going.
They're on FaceTime
And on
all
speakerphone. On
day.
speakerphone.
And that's part of the reason they can never properly assimilate. So it's like I would say it's
They don't
even,
want to assimilate, and they don't assimilate. And I think it was even in the 70s and 80s, New York City was 60, 70%. I just don't understand how it's dropped so dramatically from 70, 80, 90% white through the 70s, 80s to now it's in the 20s, the
if you
mid-20s.
look, if you look at the
I'm just
demographic,
saying, to divorce American identity from a racial identity
I agree.
is
I agree.
intellectually
I agree.
dishonest.
I agree. I
We're
agree.
if you look at the demographics of the Bronx over the last 100 years, you thought we like lost war and got invaded.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
I thought we won the war.
Yeah, what's going on?
We didn't win.
We lost to the Dominican Republic? How?
Yeah.
They can't even beat
Conquered us,
Haiti.
moved in,
Yeah.
kicked out the Italians. Yeah.
No, it's 100% true. Like it is like there is to downplay the European contribution to the United States or really the European foundation of the United States is just a massive disservice
And
to everyone.
That's why I mentioned earlier that 90% of Trump's voters in 2016 were white voters. The message was very clear. We're white people. We have this candidate who is promising us he will remove these foreigners who do not look like us from the country and build a wall so he can make sure that they don't come back. And that's what they voted for. And they didn't get that in 2016. They didn't get what they were promised. It sounds like up until now because they're not getting deported.
Well, I mean, what do
Mass
you mean
deportations are not going to happen. They're not happening and they're not going to happen.
I don't know. I don't know that they're not going to happen. I don't think that they're going to be deporting just based on race. Like they're not going to round.
Of course they're not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that what white voters were voting for in 2016, being 9 out of 10 of Trump's base, they were voting for people who are culturally and ethnically dissimilar to them to get removed. And also for them to stay away.
Yeah, I mean, look what the point that I'm making is that isn't gonna that's not happening. Like that's not going to happen. And I don't think that Donald Trump was ever actually offering that.
But look what
absolutely
activated his campaign in 2024. I mean, going to the energy in the Trump campaign was starting to struggle a little bit going fall into the election or summer into the election around the debates, and then Springfield, Ohio happens. Like there's like an anon on Twitter says there's a video of him eating a cat, and that like overnight Trump skyrocketed in the polls back to where he was. So it's like
It was great.
yeah. So it's like
that.
there is this feeling among Americans that it's like our country is starting to look very foreign and very unfamiliar, and that causes a lot of anxiety.
And Mary's point is that is directly associated with the whiteness and the Europeanness of the country,
Certainly
right?
not
The prior America.
And that's a very fair point.
Yeah, and it's not, and like what she's saying and what we're saying is not ridiculous at all. Because it's like I would expect someone in Haiti to feel this way, right? I would expect someone in China to feel this way.
People in Haiti don't have time to feel like this.
Well, I mean, they
they're
got
running
earthquakes
away
all
from
the
other
time.
people that are
Maybe
trying
Haiti's,
to
but like in China or Japan or Saudi Arabia, like they have the right to like be like, yeah, I'd like my country to be
stay.
familiar. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
Every other country talks like that.
yeah, except Western ones
except for Western countries. So.
and Haiti.
I don't think that I would consider Haiti a Western country.
Yeah, barbecue. He's when you think Socratic method, you think
Barbecue. I mean, the Haiti guy.
Yeah, the Haiti guy. Yeah.
Haiti's about as much of a basket, or about as emblematic of a basket case country as you can come.
Kind of like Maryland.
They can't even build a bridge, man.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like boats blowing up all the time. Like, what's going on?
And the dogs and cats was the best part of the Trump campaign.
And I remember how low energy it was starting to feel. And I'm the biggest MAGA guy. Like I'm pretty much a shill for the admin. And and I remember going in like it was like, oh no, like this Kamala hot swap's gonna work. And then that happens, and everyone like remembered. They were like, this is what MAGA is about: is making America, taking it and making it great again. And we don't want to see like Haitians eating. If you're from the Midwest, and you're from a small town, you've seen this happen. Like my family comes from, I'm not gonna say which town, but a town in Illinois, and it was swapped. You go there now, and there's no one left, and they were hot swapped for these people
cats.
from like you don't know where they're coming from.
And the cats are gone too.
And the cats are gone. And it wasn't. Never mind.
and the guy barbecue. No.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.